So we'll be unboxing my new WEN Jointer. It's model number JT630H. It's a spiral cutter head, 6-inch WEN Jointer. So I got this one on a really good sale on Amazon, and I've had it for a couple months now while I was doing other projects, my miter saw station and my French cleat wall. So now it's time to unbox this. The reason I got a joiner was I plan to be doing some other furnitures that I've done in the past and trying to do other jointing techniques. They were okay, but I felt like I wanted to get a jointer to make it, much better. So that's what it is. So we'll get into this and see what it's like. I like the fact that it has these straps. Okay, at the very top of the box is the instruction manual. I am one of those weird people that will actually read the instruction manual, so I'll probably cut off for a minute while I go read this. Also have some tools here. It looks like these are the hex nut screw, and looks like it's a wing nut for probably going on to the fence. So I'll take a look at that. So, but what I will do is go ahead and unbox it, but then I will go ahead and read the instructions on what we need to do. Get these out. Very nicely packed styrofoam. And then let's see what we have. So the actual unit, let me set it aside here. There's the actual jointer. 2 push blocks. This is nice to have. Dust collection chute. This is the pieces for the fence to connect up to it. So I'll go through that here once I get there. And then last but not least, the actual fence. So this fence, I believe, is the aluminum fence. It's not the cast iron. So I've read a lot about these. There's a lot of people who wish they had kept the cast iron ones. Aluminum, I've heard a lot that these are okay, that there has not been an issue, so, but it is aluminum. So we will work on that next. And let's just make sure that is it. That's all there is in the box. So I will cut off now, go read the instructions. Yeah, I'm a weird guy. I'll read the instructions before I get to work on something. And then I'll come back and go through with you the building, putting everything together, and then we'll run a board or two through just to kind of see how it works. I will tell you, this is my first jointer. So, but I've done a lot of research on these safety items I need to be aware of. These push blocks, for example, are very key. So I'll be making sure I have all my safety items taken care of. I'll probably go ahead and get the dust collection on before I actually run some boards through, but for now, I'll go read the instructions. Okay, let's get into this now. See what we got. So right off, I see, like I heard other people talk about, it's definitely got a film or like an oily film on top of the cast iron top, so we'll have to take care of that. Nice protective covering here. So let's go ahead and get plastic out of here. There we go. All right, there is, let me get a different, there's a plastic sheet on top of this. Take that off. And then we will have to clean off the top of this with a rag. I've heard people use other types of cleaners to clean off the top of this. I will be putting some board wax on here before my first use. That was so that we'll have a nice, easy, smooth push through on this. So I see that the cutter heads are also, so it is not plugged in, so I can mess with this right now. I'm just trying to see if there's other parts of the cutter heads that need wiping off at all. Making sure my fingies are away from the blades. Looks like it was just that one set. No, wait. There's more here. So yeah, I'm gonna have to do some good cleanup on this when you first get it, and you just got to be careful with the blades because they're extremely sharp. Okay, yeah, I think we're good. So I'll probably do another wipe down before I do anything. Okay, so first thing on the fence, there's 4 screws here that are already kind of loose. As I drop one to the bottom, and drop another one to the bottom, and another one. All right, great job, Jim. So the bracket goes on fairly simple, and they give you this Torx wrench here. So we'll get everything started. And it says that everything comes at factory setting. So these have square nuts on them that go inside, whoops, inside this groove right here. Let me see if I can get it to show you in there. And that's the way it gets tightened down. So there. And then it tightens down. So that's what I'm installing now. Now they want you to line it up, and basically there is, as best you can, there's a little groove right here, which is the center. So I'm going to align this little bracket hole here with the center as best as I can, eyeballing it. And then we will cinch it down. So I see it'll be easier to move this all the way up to get everything started. Because then I can turn that one, trying to hold it with my gut. Okay, I have it now. All right, so let's just move it back now. You can see what they mean. These getting away. So I wonder, can you take one off? Oh, I see. You can move it without, it's got a spring on it. You can push it out like that and then move it. so it's out of the way. Okay, well, I guess they tried. Okay, so last piece to work on is going to be the dust collection. So let me get this video down here a little bit. Okay, so basically, it's going to go right there. Okay, so first test will be for square on. That's pretty square. It is dead on. Okay. No rocking, no nothing. It's there. So that was the first test. The next test will be first to make sure that the blade, that side is all the way up. Okay. Okay. Checking for level, squareness. It's set. Down the middle. Everything is good. Side to side. Good. And now what I'm going to do is, this is all the way up. So one thing you might see is the indicator is not at 0, even though they are both up. Let me try something here. Oh wow, okay, so that was interesting. So I took it all the way up, which is what I saw most people do, but it actually caused the in-feed side to be higher than the outfeed. So now that it's set correctly, my gauge is actually set correctly, and now it's perfect. My cutter blades look to be good. They're just barely nipping the bottom here. You can see that a little bit. Hard to tell. Let me get you in a little closer and see if that's any better. So it's right here. The blades are just touching the bottom of my level. So that's exactly what we need. Okay. So everything checked out. Looks good. Everything was square out of the box, which was nice. They were level or square to each other. Both the in-feed and the out-feed were square to each other. The fence was square was 90 degrees to the actual in-feed and out-feed. So we're good. And then I checked the cutter heads. They were set correctly. So I think we're good to go. Everything, I didn't have to make any adjustments. I've seen people online making all kinds of adjustments to get it right. I didn't have to. It was pretty much right out of the box. It was correct. The other thing I wanted to show you that came with it were these two push blocks I kind of showed you. These are great for safety. However, I also had bought a micro jig gripper block, and this is the same concept, but it has these feet that come down here, and that gives you the ability to push as well as push down. So I got this one as well, so I'll probably be using one to push and one to sturdy as they go through. So with that, I'm going to hook it up with dust collection and give it a shot on one of my spare boards I have here. Okay, I did some adjustments, I guess you could say. The fence was not level this way. It doesn't really have to be, but it was 90 degrees to the in and out feed. So it was fine, but I made some adjustments. All I had to do was loosen up the bolts that attach this, level it up, screw it down together, and we're good to go. So we're ready now to give it a test. Everything is connected, and let's give her a shot. And this will be my first time ever running anything through a planer. Let's hope I do it right. And just for reference, we're going to be using a piece of pine that's got a little bit of a bow to it. So we'll see how this goes. So I have it set at a very minimal amount, not even 30 seconds. So I'm going to go to a full 30 second now, and we'll just keep letting the pass through until we get a nice smooth edge. All right, that's better. I'm going to run a few more passes through. Okay, that's pretty flat. So what I'm now going to do is run it through on the long edge and see how that does. Again, 30 seconds of an inch. Okay, so let's see how we did. So that is pretty well straight on all the way down the board. So works great. So let me get my headphones off here. So that was a few passes through, and everything worked really good. Came out good, nice and straight. So yeah, I only did a 30 seconds off each pass. That piece of pine wasn't that bad off. It didn't take more than 2 passes to get it level. But there are boards that would take many, many passes to get it through. So, but it worked great. Yeah, I'm impressed with it. I like it. So I'll start using this more and more as I start doing more builds. Well, that's it for this video. If you enjoyed this video or got anything out of it, please give me a thumbs up because it really helps the channel. And also, don't forget to subscribe down below, as I'll be making a lot more content as I started getting into more and more build videos. So with that, I'll see you in the next video.